We airmailed my buddy's Civic over a blind hill. Junior year of high school, I'm with my friends. We'll call them Chody, Beef, and Griff. Chody was my neighbor, a year older than us, and Beef and Griff were my boys all through high school. Beef was the youngest of the group. He had just gotten his driver's license, and everyone knows how that is. When you first get your license in high school, you want to drive all your buddies around in your car. Like, it's just what it is. And Beef had a coupe Civic with one of the racing fins on the back, like the funniest high school car you could ever have. And you know, did any of us really want to cram in a coupe? No, but Beef wanted to drive. We understand that. I grew up down in Grant County, so, you know, driving around late nights on a back roads is like, that's just what you do. It's like 1 in the morning or later, and we're driving around these back roads, whipping it through Crittenden. I'll leave the name out, but there's a back road back there where it's a blind hill. It's a jump. A lot of people don't. I think a lot of people don't understand like how guy friendships work. Like, it is just busting each other's balls. Like, if you're really friends with someone, you're able to look at them and be like, dude, you're a pussy, you're a bitch. Like, you won't do it. It just talk shit to each other. Like, that's just how guys interact. Like, it's fun, and that's just how we talk to each other. It's all joking, and it's not like you actually mean it when it's your buddy, but that's just what you do. So we turn onto this road, and me, Griff, and Chody are just grilling Beef. Like, you're a pussy. You won't punch it. You won't jump this hill that we're coming up to. You won't jump this hill. You won't jump this hill. You won't floor it. Half of your brain at the time, especially in high school, you don't really want him to do it, but you're like, come on, you won't do it. Like, I would do it if I was driving, but I know you won't do it. You don't have the balls to do it. You know, that type of energy. And Beef's like, oh, yeah? What's this? Well, he punches it. So we are flying up to this hill at 50 or more miles an hour. We hit the hill. And again, when you're sitting in the back of a coupe, it's already cramped. As soon as we go up in the air, me and Griff's heads both like, we feel our heads hitting the roof of the car. We're like, oh, shit. And everybody knows, anyone who hasn't been in one of those situations where you're fucking around with your buddies and then it becomes an adrenaline rush situation, when we are in the air, you feel like you're in the air for 5 minutes. So me and Griff are looking at each other. We're grabbing onto the headrest in front of us, trying to brace ourselves. Chody's in the passenger seat. Oh! and when we hit the ground, it's one of those, and we're like, woo, woo. And we're looking around, like, barely stay on the road. Beef did a great job of handling it. Great driving, Beef, to this day. Never forget it. We straighten out. It's come to a stop, and it's one of those things, again, like when you're in high school, it's, looking back on it, I think me and my buddies from high school especially, we're very conscious of the fact that we're very fortunate that we don't have any type of criminal record or serious injury to show from that. Because again, like, I think you're just, I wouldn't say, I guess it is ignorance is bliss, but like you don't think that way, like, oh, we could die doing this, or oh, we could really get in trouble doing something like this. Like, and maybe not every high schooler is like that, but me and my buddies we just had a very naive mindset to it. Like, oh, like, we're just messing around. Like, we ain't here to, our intention was never to hurt anyone or hurt ourselves or do anything that was, you know, really damaging or violent. It was just like, that's what we did for fun. And I think a lot of, especially on the male side of that, high school boys, just you don't think that way. So, you know, now that we're older, I think we recognize, like, hey, like, we're very fortunate to be alive or not hurt ourselves, because again, that was a blind jump. Like, we couldn't see anything coming on the other side of that hill. You know, even if the car had their headlights on, we wouldn't have been able to see it. Now, thank God, you know, we're driving back roads in Grant County at 1 in the morning, so you knew that nobody was going to be over on the other side of that hill. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of people out there that do similar things and don't have as fortunate of a result. So that would be my one piece of advice to high schoolers out there who love having that type of fun. Like, trust me, like, I get it and I've lived it. But to all of you that subscribe and follow, like, have fun, live your life for sure. But just keep in mind, try to be a little forward thinking and like, could I kill my buddies in this situation? Could I hurt my buddies in this situation? Could I create a life-altering event that would permanently put me in a lesser position? Like, those are the type of things that I would encourage all of you just to think about a little bit. Just that one little thought before things, like, okay, could this hurt someone I care about or myself in the process? So, that's one thing, like, even with the podcast stuff, like, a lot of my buddies, they don't want to come on here. They don't want to be tagged in stuff. They don't want to be associated with stuff right now because, you know, I'm not some big, rich, famous social media influencer. And I would never want to do anything to negatively impact my friends or family. You know, that's something that you don't think about when you're just out trying to tell stories and enjoy, trying to get people to laugh and enjoy the content. Is like I never want to paint anyone that I care about in a negative light. I want to share how funny and 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 unique they are as individuals. So just that's just little things to keep in mind. It's my piece of advice on here because there's definitely things that as I've gotten older, I look back on and say, okay, I could have handled that a little bit better, or I could have said that in a different way, and that's just part of growing up and maturing. But I hope for everybody out there that you just find the people and the things that really inspire you to be yourself and make the most of your life. And to me, I feel like my friends always encouraged me to be myself and to enjoy the things that I was doing. And that's one thing, like growing up in Northern Kentucky, like I'm not from Kentucky. I moved here from Ohio. I guess that's why I feel like I am able to speak on this type of stuff. And like Northern Kentucky is a wonderful community, but there are a handful of people in Northern Kentucky who are like, we're from Northern Kentucky. We can never be associated with the rednecks from past the Florence line. Like we're the sophisticated Kentuckians. And again, like I had a great experience there. It's a wonderful community, but there is a lot of just interesting dynamic. It's just the type of place where it's like, well, where'd you go to school? If I were to say my college, they'd be like, no, where'd you go to high school? Like, and I think that's something that it's okay, right? Like everybody has a different mindset and perspective on their life, but like high school was a great time for me. I'm glad I went to Cuff Cath. I had a wonderful experience there. It was a great community to grow up in and kind of figure things out as far as your life and the way that you want to do things. But I also would say if there's just one downfall, and I think it's in every community across the world, right? Like everybody has a little bit of that, but just a lot of kids would really like just make fun of where I lived and make fun of Grant County. And it's like my brother went to Grant County. Grant County is a wonderful community. There's wonderful people down there. I would say actually I learned just as much from my friends that I had in Grant County as I did from the people that I went to school with at Cuff Cath. So I've just never been a big fan of like entitlement and thinking that you're better than other people. I don't care where you come from or how much money you make or what your title is. Like we're all cut from the same cloth, right? Like we're all Americans here. We're all made in God's image and we all have the equal opportunity to pursue what we want to do in life. And I don't care what your background is. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what your views are. Like this is equal opportunity land. That's what we live in. And I guess that was always my biggest pet peeve growing up, and even to this day, is just like entitlement. Like, who are you to talk down to somebody? Who are you to act like your word or what you do is more important than what someone else is doing? I think that's just like my biggest pet peeve that I've had up to this point. Now, almost 27 years old, up to this point in my life, I've never been a big fan of entitlement, and I don't think I always handled that well. Like, I really created like a negative chip on my shoulder at times because I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, especially in high school, like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, your mommy and daddy have money and that makes you better than me? Like, that ain't how it fucking works. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I guess the reason I'm bringing that up is like, don't use that as a negative, hateful thing. You know, every community, every school, every place in the world has some people who are just entitled and they feel like they're better than you and that they are more deserving of opportunities just because they come from money or their last name means something in the town. Like, it don't mean shit. I guess that's my biggest piece of advice from all these stories and everything I've ever talked about is like, we all have an equal opportunity in this country. Take advantage of it. Like, go chase your dreams. Go take chances. Do the things that you're afraid of doing because you're afraid you might fail. Like, go do it. Go give it a shot. Like, that's why I do these podcasts and why I write movie scripts and why I'm doing what I'm doing on social media is like every single day there's an opportunity to go get it. Why not me? You know? Why not you? Go chase your dreams. Go figure out what you're really passionate about and go get after it. Like, that's an opportunity. Every single day you have an opportunity to do that. And you got to be patient with yourself. Like, that's always been my biggest flaw probably is I'm a perfectionist. So I want to have the perfect schedule and the perfect routine and the perfect execution right from day one. And it's a process. Like, you got to take it one step at a time and you got to just slowly find your groove and find your routine and what you enjoy. Like, don't get me wrong. We all want money, but shit, I think peace of mind and happiness is just as important. So shit, that's a lot of rambling, but I really believe that. Like, treat everybody the way that you want to be treated, and don't doubt yourself. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out how you're going to make it happen, and go chase it. We all have an opportunity in America. Shit, we have a girl that is a social media millionaire for Hawk 2, a blowjob reference. Like that's the culture that we're living in right now. So if a girl can make a blowjob joke and become a multimillionaire, you should feel pretty encouraged to go out and chase your dreams in the United States of America. So that's my story. Shout out Beef for airmailing his Civic over a blind hill. Thank God that we came out unscathed, and so did his car. I've got another story about a hill in that area that was jumped not quite as successfully, but that's a story for another time, and that's today's episode. I hope everybody's well, and we'll be back with more soon. Talks with Tom.
Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more.
Thank God on the second.